In this video, I'm going to review the Yamaha HS8 Active Near-Field Studio Monitors. If this is your first time here and you want to learn all about FL Studio and music production in general, then make sure you hit that subscribe button and the bell as well. People often ask me what monitors to buy, and so in order to help you out, I decided to make a few reviews of monitors I consider to be a good buy. But before we continue, I'd just like to give a shout out to our Patreons who help make these videos possible. Your support is very much appreciated. Choosing a pair of monitors that will work for you is one of the most important and difficult decisions you'll ever make. After all, this is a decision that will directly affect your mixing. So it's essential to have monitors that will give you a flat and true representation of your mix. When you see the HS8 for the first time, you might think that they look oddly familiar. Well, back in the day, there was a pair of monitors you were likely to find in just about every professional studio all over the world, and that was the Yamaha HS10. Today, these monitors are considered an icon. The HS8, HS7, and HS5 might at first glance look like a reincarnation of this old icon. But don't get fooled, they are nothing alike, and that's actually a good thing. The NS10s were originally designed for home use, which means that their frequency response wasn't particularly flat. However, due to the lack of good studio monitors available at the time and their superior clarity, the NS10s quickly became hugely popular among mix engineers. When compared to the HS8s though, it's like night and day. The HS8 and the smaller HS7 and HS5 have all been designed from the ground up as a high-quality studio monitor. They look somewhat similar to the NS10, no doubt to capitalize on the image from those old famous icons, and that makes perfect sense. Who wouldn't do that? The new HS series all have those iconic-looking white cones, but that's as far as the similarities go. This is a very different beast indeed. The HS8 is the largest in the series, featuring an 8-inch woofer. The HS7 has a 7-inch woofer, and the HS5 a 5-inch. I find that the 5-inch woofers that most people tend to go for are just too small and don't bring out those really low-end frequencies. And you'll need a subwoofer in order to hear what's really going on in the low end. These go much lower and should enable you to mix without a subwoofer. When we talk about woofer size, we always have to do a compromise. For example, if you want more bass, you'll need larger woofers. It's as simple as that. The problem is that as you go up in woofer size, you tend to lose clarity in the mid-range. Most near-field monitors are like this. They are two-way speakers, meaning that the woofer is essentially a full-tone speaker and not just a dedicated bass woofer. You'll therefore need to find a good balance between low-end and mid-range. These are not entry-level monitors, nor are they high-end monitors. They place themselves somewhere in between in the mid-range segment. When you open the box, you'll find the typical accessories. Besides the monitor itself, there's a manual and a power cord. Before we continue, I should note that I bought these monitors myself, so this video is not sponsored in any way. The cabinet is made of durable MDF and the overall build quality feels solid. The tweeter is mounted in a shallow waveguide and the sides of the cabinet are rounded along their top and bottom edges. Each monitor weighs 10.2 kilograms, so these are very heavy. They're also fairly large. The HS8 has an 8-inch woofer and a 1-inch tweeter. The power output is rated at a solid 120 watts. It's biamped, of course, so there's 75 watts going to the woofer and 45 going to the tweeter. On the front, you have the iconic-looking white woofer and metal cover over the tweeter. There's also an illuminated logo to indicate that the power is on, which I find quite useful. As with many high-end monitors, there's no auto on-off feature here. The monitors are rear-ported, which helps reduce port noise. The drawback of this design, though, is that the monitors should not be placed too close to the rear wall or in a corner. Their frequency response is 38 Hz to 30,000 Hz. On the backside, we have the bass port and some cooling ribs for the built-in amplifier. There's also a volume knob. Unfortunately, the volume knob isn't notched, which is a slight annoyance. There is one notch at the 50% mark though, and I just ended up leaving it at that level. After all, these speakers are quite powerful, so 50% will usually be more than enough. Below that, we have the XLR and TRS inputs and the usual trim controls that get it sounding just right in most rooms. The room control switch compensates for bass buildup when the monitor is placed near a wall. The three-way switch provides 0, -2, or -4 dB attenuation below 500 Hz. The three-way high trim switch boosts or attenuates response 2 dB above 2000 Hz, the driver's crossover frequency, and alternatively provides a 0 setting. Below that, there's a power switch, and of course, the connection for the power cord. All in all, the specifications here are very good, but how do they sound? I use these as my main monitors myself now, and one of the things that I like most about them is the low-end response. Many producers, and especially beginners, often struggle to mix low-end. The commonality is that they often mix on small monitors. The problem with smaller cones is that you don't get an accurate representation of the low end. A 5-inch woofer typically can't produce anything below 50 or 60 Hz. The HS8, on the other hand, provides a very solid low end, allowing you to really hear what's going on down there without the use of a subwoofer. These monitors really pack a punch, and when you crank up the volume, you can feel the vibrations in your gut. The good thing about having this abundance of power combined with a relatively large cone is that you get a very good bass response even at lower volumes. This will make it much easier to mix low end. With these, you won't have to constantly check your mix in the car or with a subwoofer. They also offer superior clarity, as well as a fairly flat frequency response curve, as any good studio monitor should. In all honesty, I think the T7V from Adam Audio sounds a little bit clearer in the high mids and high end though, but not by much. The T7V has a smaller 7-inch woofer and a ribbon tweeter that has trickled down from the higher end speakers. To sum it up, the HS8s are really good all-around monitors, which is well suited for all kinds of music. But I think they will probably be especially well suited for EDM and bass-heavy music in general, simply because it's easier to mix low-end when you can actually hear it. It offers an unbeatable combination of precise, solid low-end and great clarity. If you're looking for a mid-range monitor, the HS8, in my opinion, is one of the best choices you can make. If you have a small or medium-sized room though, then the slightly smaller HS7 or HS5 might be a better alternative. The HS7 also provides fairly solid low-end and have almost the same sonic characteristics as the HS8. At the end of the day, you want a monitor that gives you a flat frequency response which doesn't sugarcoat your mix in any way, not even in the low end. This is why studio monitors often sound boring compared to hi-fi speakers. And remember, that's a good thing. Music should come out of your monitors exactly the way it comes out of your DAW, without any sugarcoating, and that's exactly what studio monitors are designed to do. So, would I recommend the HS8? Absolutely yes! I use these myself daily, and although they're quite a bit more expensive than entry-level monitors, you get what you pay for. I've included the Amazon links to the HS8, HS7, and HS5 in the description below, as well as the T7V in case some of you would like to check them out. If you're on a budget and would like some cheaper monitors which also sound great, then you should check out the Adam Audio T7V. You can find the link to my review of the T7Vs in the description below. I'm also adding some links to some Balanced XLR cables as well. I always recommend using Balanced XLR in order to avoid interference. Note that when you buy monitors, the signal cables, they're not included, so you'll have to buy those separately. This goes for all monitors. I'd like to thank our Patreons for their ongoing support, and as always, if there's any specific tutorial you'd like us to make, or if you have a question, just let us know in the comments below. Also, make sure to check out the links below if you need feedback on your music, mixing, mastering, and so on. Thanks for watching.